Hi, thank you.
Representative, so elected for Pierce County from the 27th. So on like endorsements. So it's glad you made it.
First time I met Dane was my first Thurston County Progressives meeting. I had just moved to Olympia. I had no idea who anybody was. And Dane just came up to me and asked me what my name was and like welcomed me. And I just remember, yeah, like just that permanent smile, you know, on his face. Like he couldn't feel uncomfortable around the guy, you know? Like I immediately knew, like, this is one of the good guys. Yeah, I trusted him. And I always trusted him to do the right thing.
Since I've gotten involved with the Democrats, I got sucked into this whole thing by the Bernie Sanders campaign, and just get deeper and deeper involved. But one of the first people I just was naturally gravitated toward was Dane. Partly is because he was just a really friendly, outgoing person, and he felt comfortable to be next to. He was always friendly to me. But then I quickly learned that our politics were actually also very closely aligned. So I just naturally just kind of found him as a natural ally within the organization, and ended up sitting with him quite a bit and spending a lot of time chatting with him at various events. And one place we got a little closer was in the Tambourine Borelli campaign. And one particular event that stands out in my mind, I'll share that with you. We were filming a commercial for Tambourine out in Yelm in the middle of summer. It's brutally hot, like 90 degrees. Dane came out there and we were rehearsing, and it was hot. He was sweating quite a bit. He was a big guy, and I was a little worried about him, but he kept going, and he had to go rent a suit from this shop in Yelm that he had scheduled a suit rental. paying for it himself, like $150 to go over this suit, just the contribution he's making to her campaign, and he went and he put on that suit in 90-degree weather and came back. And he was the corrupt politician that was writing the check. Anyway, it was a lot of fun working with Dane. He was just a wonderful guy. He saw the truth and he had the courage to speak the truth. He cared about people. He cared about creating a society that worked for everybody. Healthcare was a big issue for him, but he just really cared about creating a society that worked for everybody, cared for peace, cared for environmental sustainability. So he was the real deal, and he really is a big loss. I really feel the loss because he was there. He's somebody that showed up, somebody you could depend on, and he was a comrade really in arms in this struggle for a better world that we're all engaged in. And so, really sad to see him go. A big loss for our progressive movement. But we have the wonderful memories, I guess, to hold on to, and the inspiration to hold on to going forward. So thank you.
So Dane was one of the first people at TCD that I met. I went to my first meeting in September of 2016. I just won PCO and wasn't yet a PCO, but wanted to get an idea of what I could expect in the next couple of years. And after the meeting, Angie Vega, who at the time was also new and I had gotten to know, introduced me to him, and we just sat and talked for like 30 minutes after the meeting. And our friendship had grown a lot from that, and I'm sorry, I'm suddenly a little bit. And we didn't always get along, we didn't always agree for about 5 minutes. And then we'd talk and move past that 5 minutes, and we'd be back to be really good friends. And that was Dane. He could be irreverent at times, he spoke up, but he was passionate about what he believed in. And you knew that if he agreed with you, he really agreed with you. He showed up for everything. I saw him at Planned Parenthood events. I saw him at net neutrality. We stood out in the rain together, rallying for stuff. He was just there for everything, and gonna miss him a lot. And meetings aren't gonna be the same anymore. But we'll, again, like Jeff was saying, we'll have our memories of it.
So, commenter, I was asked to kind of report on the fundraising efforts that have been going on since Dane's passing. I didn't know Dane well, but in the couple of years that I did know him, he was just always impressed me by showing up, standing up, and speaking up for the things that he thought was right, and I always respected that. And I was extremely proud to have his support all during my campaign for county commissioner. He left behind a significant other, Wendy Jo Jacqueline. She's not going to be able to continue in the residence that they resided in because of financial circumstances. She has somewhere to go, thankfully, but she would like to extend her stay where she is for a little bit of extra time in order to try to get things wrapped up, sold off, and get transitioned to, I think it's a granddaughter. So you may know that a GoFundMe was started. I checked it this morning, and $3,100 out of $3,700 had been raised. Another $370, I believe, at an LD22 meeting, and we just counted what was put in today, $710 just tonight. I didn't set the goal. I hope that was an appropriate goal, and not undershooting what the real need is. But we met the goal, and tonight's probably to everyone that contributed on the GoFundMe or at the previous events. Thank you, and this is your last opportunity to pitch in. There's a jar that Phyllis Booth will have, and she'll make sure the money gets where it needs to go. So, thanks everybody.
Thank you.
Hi.
Roger Cummings. I want to let you know the first time I encountered Dane was when I was doing this project during the ramp up to the 2016 Democratic Convention. We had the Bernoulli Light Brigade over Boulevard Road. We had lighted signs. And he was one of the first to sign up. And to this day, on my phone, I have a video that I took of us standing over I-5 and people are honking for Bernie. And I'm panning my people holding this big banner. And Dane is just blabbing about something. I don't know. And here's what I love about Dane. He was not one to shut up.
Thank you.
And to that, I honor him. And I also posted this on Facebook. And I don't know, I'll share it again. It was a Light Brigade again. Rod Tharp had loaned me this projection stencil.
Yeah.
This said Bernie 16. And we were down at the Mistake on the Lake, and we're doing our thing. I turned around, we've done our gig, I shut it all down. And I turned around and
Known Dane. Oh, since I've gotten involved with the Democrats, I got sucked into this whole thing by the Bernie Sanders campaign, and just get deeper and deeper involved. But one of the first people I just was naturally gravitated toward was Dane. And partly it's because he was just a really friendly, outgoing person, and he felt comfortable to be next to. He was always friendly to me. But then I quickly learned that our politics were actually also very closely aligned. So I just naturally just kind of found him as a natural ally within the organization, and ended up sitting with him quite a bit and spending a lot of time chatting with him at various events. And one place we got a little closer was in the Tambourine Borelli campaign. And one particular event that stands out in my mind, I'll share that with you. We were filming a commercial for Tambourine out in Yelm in the middle of summer. It's brutally hot, like 90 degrees. Dane came out there and we were rehearsing, and it was hot. He was sweating quite a bit. He was a big guy, and I was a little worried about him, but he kept going, and he had to go rent a suit from this shop in Yelm that he had scheduled a suit rental. He's paying for it himself, like $150 to go rent this suit. Just the contribution he's making to her campaign, and he went and he put on that suit in 90-degree weather and came back. And he was the corrupt politician that was writing the check. Anyway, it was a lot of fun working with Dane. He was just a wonderful guy. He saw the truth, and he had the courage to speak the truth. He cared about people. He cared about creating a society that worked for everybody. Healthcare was a big issue for him. But he just really cared about creating a society that worked for everybody, cared for peace, cared for environmental sustainability. So he was the real deal, and he's a big loss. I really feel the loss because he was there. He's somebody that showed up, somebody you could depend on, and he was a comrade really in arms in this struggle for a better world that we're all engaged in. And so, really sad to see him go. A big loss for our progressive movement. But we have the wonderful memories, I guess, to hold on to, and the inspiration to hold on to going forward. So thank you.
So Dane was one of the first people at TCD that I met. I went to my first meeting in September of 2016. I just won PCO and wasn't yet a PCO, but wanted to get an idea of what I could expect in the next couple of years. And after the meeting, Angie Vega, who at the time was also new and I had gotten to know, introduced me to him, and we just sat and talked for like 30 minutes after the meeting. And our friendship had grown a lot from that. And I'm sorry, I'm suddenly a little bit. And we didn't always get along. We didn't always agree for about 5 minutes. And then we'd get talk and move past that 5 minutes and we'd be back to be really good friends. And that was Dane. He could be irreverent at times, he spoke up, but he was passionate about what he believed in. And you knew that if he agreed with you, he really agreed with you. He showed up for everything. I saw him at Planned Parenthood events. I saw him at net neutrality. We stood out in the rain together, rallying for stuff. He was just there for everything, and gonna miss him a lot. And meetings aren't gonna be the same anymore. But we'll, again, like Jeff was saying, we'll have our memories of it.
So, Time Answer, I was asked to kind of report on the fundraising efforts that have been going on since Dane's passing. I didn't know Dane well, but in the couple of years that I did know him, he was just always impressed me by showing up, standing up, and speaking up for the things that he thought was right, and I always respected that. And I was extremely proud to have his support all during my campaign for county commissioner. He left behind a significant other, Wendy Jo Jacqueline. They were, she's not going to be able to continue in the residence that they resided in because of financial circumstances. She has somewhere to go, thankfully, but she would like to extend her stay where she is for a little bit of extra time in order to try to get things wrapped up, sold off, and get transitioned to, I think it's a granddaughter. So you may know that a GoFundMe was started. I checked it this morning, and $3,100 out of $3,700 had been raised. Another $370, I believe, at an LD22 meeting, and we just counted what was put in today, $710 just to I didn't set the goal. I hope that was an appropriate goal, and not undershooting what the real need is. But we met the goal, and tonight's probably to everyone that contributed on the GoFundMe or at the previous events. Thank you, and this is your last opportunity to pitch in. There's a jar that Phyllis Booth will have, and she'll make sure the money gets where it needs to go. So, thanks everybody.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Roger Cummings. I want to let you know the first time I encountered Dane was when I was doing this project during the ramp up to the 2016 Democratic Convention. We had the Bernoulli Light Brigade over Boulevard Road. We had lighted signs. And he was one of the first to sign up. And to this day, on my phone, I have a video that I took of us standing over I-5 and people are honking for Bernie. And I'm panning my people holding this big banner. And Dane is just blabbing about something. I don't know.
A person who's always on the lookout to try to get people to live healthier lives. I walked up to him and said, "You're a walking heart attack." And he said, "I've already had a heart attack." And I proceeded to try to tell him some things, but he decided to tell me an hour's worth of his health problems and what he was doing. And anyway, several times we had that interaction. At the LD 35 meeting of the reorg recently, Dane was in the audience, and every person who ran for office, he would say, say it a little louder.
You would say what?
Are you for Medicare for all?
Are you for Medicare for all?
Yes.
And then a few times, a candidate was up and Dane had gotten out of his seat. Maybe he had to go to the bathroom or something, but they would nod to the chair and say, "Medicare for all." And I asked Dane several times to be our sergeant at arms at LB22. I felt like, with him as big as he was, we would all behave well. And asked him one time if he would what kind of character he would like to be. And he couldn't think of anything. I said, well, how would you like to be Hagrid? Is that the Harry Potter film? And he agreed. But he was a very dear person, very authentic. And hopefully as we go forth, as Democrats, we'll always remember Dane and everyone that...
I actually just met him at the commercial that Jeff shot. Was the first time I got to meet Dane. And from that time, I got to work with him a lot with Tambourine over the summer. And I'm up in Pierce County, so we didn't do a lot of politics together outside of Tambourine. Our Democratic circles were a little different. But I did not have a great relationship with my father. And that was something I was really struggling with a lot this summer. And he talked to me a lot about some of his family relations and really made me feel seen in a time when I was really struggling with that, and I'm never going to forget him for that. So
I'm still in shock. But as many people have spoken, I actually wrote some things down because I knew the moment I opened my mouth this would happen. So here's what I wrote down. Dane was a strong progressive, and he always spoke his mind, no matter what, no matter where. And it may not be exactly what you or whatever might have thought, but he believed it all the way. And when he spoke it, he always had kind of a laugh, and do you remember his little laugh, his chuckle afterwards? It was so disarming. You knew that he wasn't vicious about it. He was just being so authentic, so real with what he was saying. And many of the things you've heard today, and there's many things more about Dane if you begin to just roll back time and remember the times that he would speak out when he thought that something wasn't going quite right, or really wasn't going along with the deep progressive movement. Other than that, Dane always honored the movement of our earth and our planet. Yes, he was very strong for the environment. He always recognized the equinoxes and the solstices. The solstice is coming, and I invite you all, if you like, please do it, to remember him on the solstice, because I know that Dane would have been honoring it. The solstice this year will be December 21st, and it will start in our time zone at 2:23 p.m. So please, on the 21st, please pause what you're doing, wherever you are. If you're having lunch, you're in a conversation, wherever, and honor Dane, because he would have been honoring our entire planet on that day. And then, just to go over to a little bit of fun, Dane, one of the things, conversations I had with him recently before he passed, he was so excited about the Rolling Stones coming to town. They were coming, and he was going to get tickets, and he wanted everybody to go hear the Rolling Stones. So, play some Rolling Stones music. And remember Dane. And remember his deep authenticity and the things he believed in. And let us, all of us, do our very best. As we know, the local Dem Party is going through changes, but let us not change too far. Let's not.
I don't have too many stories that top anything that's already been said tonight. There's been times that I've been dragging around the AV equipment or having all this stuff here, trying to get ready for a Thurston County Democrats meeting, and he'd always just appear out of nowhere, because he would always show up early, always ready to help, and it seemed like when you needed something, he was always there. You never even had to ask. He was just really good at anticipating needs, and so I'll definitely be thankful to him for that. One other thing that Jordan Morris had told me was he even made a donation to Ty's campaign, I think after the election.
Who's camping?
Ty's. So it wasn't just like another monthly payment had just gone over. He believed in the campaign, and I think he's not here to tell the story, but Jordan, I think, saw that he had made a payment even after the election had gone through. So he definitely held it all the way till the very end, and When he got your support, when you got his support, you got all of it. Thank you.
The 1329 and I-735 campaigns. I've never done a signature campaign before, ever. And I did my first at 50. And I'm so glad you mentioned solstice. That was always more a holiday for Christmas for my mom and I, because I grew up in Alaska. And that was really a big deal that the days were going to be getting longer. Well, Dane, what a sweetheart he was. Now it's my turn to cry. I think the main thing I wanted to get out up here is he was just such a gentle giant. And he was a teddy bear. You know, he would give you the shirt off his back. We went to Hempfest, we did Pride. I actually drove my mom's car in Pride for the I-735 campaign. And he was just right there, helping us get the signs on the bumpers and, you know, get stuff, you know, tied to the side of the car and all this stuff. And he was, like everybody said, he, you know, was always really helpful to anybody who needed it. And of course, having a little brawn doesn't hurt from time to time. Anyway, I guess that's all I have to say.
A message from Bennett DeRose on here. Dane was my big brother. Still can't believe he's gone. It was an honor being your sister, Bubba. Love and miss you forever. I love you. Rest easy till I get there. Say hi to Grandma and Grandpa and Auntie Tootsie for me. And then thank you all for honoring my brother this way.
I'm Courtney, and I also did not know Dane very long, also from the tambourine campaign. But it quickly expanded. It was I-1600. It was Red Berets, Medicare for All. It was our revolution. It was the Democratic Party beyond our local areas. It was everything, and with everything he was. And he never missed an opportunity to compliment me on my stuff. But I have to say, I think his smile was bigger. Proportion. Man is a giant. So I don't want to miss this last opportunity to compliment him on his smile. Yeah. He was big and bold, and I encourage us to be the same.
And I'm with Our Revolution, Washington Burning Crats Coalition. I'm chair, so she's vice chair. So what she was saying is, yes, he was a big part of the Democratic Party, but he was way beyond that. He was entrenched so deep down in our revolution, the full package, what he believed he lived. He would give you his last cent out of his pocket.
He may have.
And he may have. He probably did. I was thankful as well.
My name's Annie, and I met Dane, like most of us did, as a very progressive activist, an activist for Bernie, an activist for Medicare for All, the things that most everybody that's here support. A standing joke between Dane and I was that there were some meetings that were just, I couldn't go to. I got tired of being told to shut up all the time. And I'd say, God damn you, Dane, you're still going to those meetings. My head is arching, and I won't sit in a room with those people anymore. It's too tedious. And you know what is the worst part about Dane dying? And it hit me the minute I saw it. was the comfort of walking into a meeting and seeing him. It's never going to be there for any of us progressives who needed a friendly face in a meeting. And to stand the meeting and see him there, you knew you were going to be fine. His absence will be felt.
Yeah.
Well, I'm Sky, and it's kind of hard to add much to what everybody has said. I just second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth what other folks have said. But I did recall one little story while I was sitting there, and it was leaving a meeting, and I was so frustrated, and I was in the elevator, and Dane was in the elevator with me, and I turned to him and I said, do some people just not have a moral compass, or what? And he looked at me and he said, no, everybody has it, they just don't listen to it.
True.
And Dane had a moral compass. And Dane was that progressive. He was our anchor on the far left side that was there every time. He was a rock, he was an anchor, he was a friendly face. And so, you know, the other thing Dane and I shared were snacks. And he always brought snacks to meetings, and I usually brought snacks, and sometimes we'd sit next to each other and compare, and mine were usually healthier. And he would comment that mine were healthier, and he would ask if I had any carrots from my garden, and I would give him some if I did. But yeah, I think some of us are going to have to up our game a little bit and fill that space out on the far left of our party where we care about everybody and we feel with the compassion that Dane did, and we actually listen to our moral compass every day. So if I had a hat, it would be off to him, but thank you, Dane, for showing the way.
Hi, everybody. So my name is Vanessa Malpodi. I am new here. Well, been here for a year and a half in Olympia, but missed a lot of meetings, and now I'm here. And I am a DSA member in Olympia, and Dane was a DSA member. And I feel like he had, well, to quote Johnny Cash, right? We thought that we were his daddy, but he had 5 more. Because he seems to have a lot of, he was member of so many different groups, and that was great because that shows the kind of person that he was. He was into everything, and I believe that we should also be everywhere. I believe that we will all remember him as the guy that always wore shorts that were too short for him. But I remember that, and I'm not going to say that I knew him very well because I did not, but he did do something for me that was awesome. And he did a few actions with us for when Victor was running. And the last one that we went to, and you were there and Kyoki was there, when we were going home, he said, he asked me, he said, "Are you Victor's daughter?" And then I laughed, and I'm not gonna lie, I did a little stomping on my feet because I was always being asked, "Are you his wife?" And when they wouldn't ask me if I was his wife, I would be asked, "Are you Kyoki's wife?" And one time I think I was asked if I was his wife. So you know, the reason why it was great that he said, "Are you his daughter?" Not only it was good because you know he's older than me, but it was because he didn't think, "Oh, there's a woman of color and there's a guy of color, so that has to be his wife." Yeah. So I will always remember that joke, but also the fact that this man was everywhere and he voiced his opinion. And his opinion was always for the underdog. Yeah. And he didn't care if you didn't like it. And that is something that I admire so much. The last time that I saw him was the last time that a lot of us saw him. The last time was the day of that we had the reorg election. And I when we went home, I messaged him. We were messaging each other for a while because he had been upset about something on a Facebook post, and I tried to get him to see things on. I tried to tell him, hey, things are not as bad as you're thinking. It's gonna be okay, and I want us to make that a reality for his sake. It's going to be okay. Things are going to be okay. No, then the world's not ending. But also, the one thing that I felt, and I think that many of us felt it when we found out that he passed, was this loss. Like I felt the loss, like we just lost someone that was a strong voice and a real leftist. Like we lost that. I don't want to have many more losses like that. So we need to pick up what he, that emptiness that he left us. We need to fill it. We need to pick that up so that we at least can say, you know what, we're gonna be okay. And I believe that we're gonna be okay because even though many people didn't think that he was so great or this or that, he actually was, and he did teach us something. So,
Does everybody have Everybody has a glass of their choosing. All right, can I have your attention? You're going to make this short and sweet for Dane. To Dane, he was a big man not because of his height, but because of his heart. Whether you agreed with him or not, he gave you everything he had, and he taught us a valuable lesson as Democrats. Ask forgiveness, not permission.
Hell yeah. To a life well lived today, may we all have the courage to live as Dane did. Live your truth. Don't deny it.
And Medicare for all!
Dream big loudly.
Dream big loudly.
Yeah, I'll be wearing a beret and I will be engaging. Remember Dane on the solstice. Don't forget him. He'll be thinking of it. You gotta wear
There's plenty of food still, so eat snacks in honor of Dane. From Eric Lee on high. So from Eric Lee, Dane was passionate and spoke what he felt. His bullshit and dino detectors were well tuned. I'll always miss his honesty and his laugh that would fill any room and any open space. Cheers. Here's to you, Dane. Thank you, Aaron.
Scott, what were you sharing with me? You want me to read something?
But Your heart fit my whole smile in it, so it must have been big. And Dane, like usual, Rhonda's a horrible person. But you were a political safe space and a physical safe space. And as Annie pointed out earlier, she pointed it out and it slammed into my heart that you, like, for a small stature woman, having such a giant man made it safe to stand on street corners, made it safe to be loud in a group of people who didn't agree with you. And you are so much more than your physical presence, but noting that your physical presence will also be it's a new realization, and it slapped me hard tonight.
I'm gonna really miss you. I always remember just hanging out late at night, getting into trouble with you, driving around, putting up signs. I just really appreciate the conversations that we had, and you made me feel seen when I wasn't, and I'll never forget that about you. Too soon gone, but hopefully your next life is wonderful.
Hey Dane, bro, just let's be a little bit less loud. Can you tone it down a little bit? Oh, what do you say? Oh, dream big loudly. Oh, why do we have to, whisper our dreams, we have to say it loudly? Oh, okay, Dane, thank you, I got it.
Here in 2018, and Dane was a stalwart, absolute, always there whenever he could be, and he is going to be very sorely missed. Love you, Dane.
I sat with you at the Kennedy dinner in September, and I think that was one of the first times I had a long conversation with you, and I'll always remember that. I mean, you told me about some experiences you had when you were young, and some challenges with your father, but I think that was a great story for my boys to hear, and I'll always remember you for that.
Hey Dane, it's Roger Cummings. I'm so glad I knew you, and I thank you for everything you always have been and stood for.
Dane, I want you to know that I am so honored to have met you and to watch you speak up every time for those that didn't have a voice, and for always showing up to everything. And I want you to know that your passion and your mission, it's not going to end, and it's not going to be forgotten.
As I met, he made me feel comfortable at my first forum. And if I was to say anything to Dane's family, I'm going to give him a sailor's blessing. May you have fair winds and following seas on your journey.
Dane, we all loved you. We hope that you have a safe journey into the next space of being. Thank you for being such a fan of Medicare for All. We're going to get that done for you now. Love to you, Dane, and love to your family.
Hi, Dane. I miss you whole bunches, which you probably already know. I know you are watching down on all of us. You're going to have our backs as we go on this big fight. Oh, you've changed my life more than I think you probably know. Big gentle giant, and your hugs, just freaking amazing. I'll never forget them, and I look forward to seeing you.
Winter solstice is the shortest day of the year in northern hemisphere. In other words, it is the day of the least sunlight all year. After the winter solstice, the days grow longer again until the summer solstice in June, when the days start to become shorter again. When does winter solstice occur? In 2018, the winter solstice will occur at 5:23 Eastern Standard Time on Friday, December 21st. Since we live on the Pacific Coast, only had a few hours. What do you track? When does it happen? As it rotates on its axis, the Earth isn't straight up and down. It is actually tilted 23.5 degrees, 23.5 accurate. This tilt makes the sun appear to move in the sky throughout the year. The tilt also creates the seasons we experience during the year. What does the solstice mean? The solstice is a moment in time, a turning point, if you may. The word literally means sun standing. The day when the sun appears to start moving in the sky and turn back in a slow journey towards summer. It has been celebrated for thousands of years by countless of thousands of civilizations as a time to stop and to reflect, to remember, and to give thanks. While it marks the beginning of the winter season, the solstice marks a paradox that when we feel at times the darkest, that's the sign that our journey begins and light has begun. This year's solstice is particularly special in that it coincides with the full moon. That was last night. The full moon light shines bright into creation, illuminating all that is good and all that is hopeful, all that is becoming. A new chapter awaits you. Take each step with fresh eyes, an open heart, and a courageous spirit. May you make the most of the special day in whatever way feels best. Enjoy the special guided meditation as our time rituals help you, and sit down and tune in.
Winter solstice rituals and reflections. Set space. Setting your sacred space internally and externally is a powerful step to connect you with your intentions. Create a peaceful environment with music and privacy. Sit in a comfortable position and light a candle. Close your eyes and begin to focus on your breath. Notice how it feels to inhale and exhale. Quiet your mind by focusing only on how it feels to breathe in your unique way. Invite your higher power, whatever you name it to be. Source, God, Goddess, universe, nature, science, etc. To be present with you. Open your eyes whenever you feel ready. question the meditation. Write down what is present in this moment. What lessons and learnings are you grateful for? What are you ready to release? What is your intention for the coming year? Fire releasing ceremony. Build a small fire, either in your fireplace or a contained bowl. Cut pieces of paper that you can write on and have a journal and pen by your side. Ask yourself, what beliefs, behaviors, and relationships no longer serve me? Write them down on separate pieces of paper. View them and ask, am I willing to let these go? Make a pile of papers that you are going to release. Sit with them and thank them for giving you the wisdom you needed to. I love you. Thank you. Then, when you are ready, take each one individually, releasing their energy into the ethers.
Bringing in the solstice. Cover your eyes. Okay, with your heart. Gather a few pieces of paper. Take your letter. December 21st, 2018. Imagine it's a year from now. Time to see and feel. Imagine heroes and dreams coming true. Imagine what you would want to experience. As if the snap of your fingers can manifest anything you want. You can manifest your heart's line coming true. What do you experience? What do you feel? What happens as a result? Feel yourself smiling. Feel yourself experiencing joy. Happiness. Connection. Healing. Prosperity. Whatever you desire. When you are ready, open your eyes. As if they have already occurred. Be specific and allow your passion to be known to you. For it is the healing that interacts what you experience. Write for as long as you feel complete. When you are finished, place your name in an envelope, self-addressed with your name, and return to the box. These are some words from everybody out there today. And I feel honored standing here repeating them. But just Danette. Hi, I'm Danette. I'm Dane's sister, Danette, and his mother. Sharing your wonderful comments about my big brother. To all, video the event, unfortunately, due to finances, we won't be able to make the trip. Thank you for always loving my brother. He will be sorely missed forever. Quote. Bill Poindexter. Quote. Rest in peace, my friend. I believe the last time we talked was at a class reunion. Don't remember specifically which one, but we talked about the newspaper business. For obvious reasons. Scrolling through the page, looking at the many pictures and reading the posts, you obviously were surrounded by loving family and friends. God be with you till we meet again. Quote. Jason Paul. Quote. I wanted to tell you a story about our recently departed brother. I've only been Facebook friends with Dane for 6 months or so, but I've known Dane for approximately a decade, and I never knew his name. As a teacher activist, over 18 years I have been in Olympia and with relative frequency participating in walkout protests, official days of action, and lobbying, fighting our lame shit legislature to fund education. I saw Dane at the Capitol often over the years. We spoke a few times, and we were familiar with each other over the last couple of years. Conversationally at these educational events. He was that tall guy with long hair and skinny legs that I swear I met at Grateful Ditch in the 90s. But anyways, I just wanted to point out to my educator friends that Dane was always with us. He took his time. Being an Olympian local, come to the Capitol and support teacher union actions, education, lost a good friend today. Unquote. Kathleen Ray. Quote, I'm still stunned and extremely sad by your loss. You were in our LD legislative district, I guess that means. And his presence will always have a huge hole in it. Huge. Sorry. Huge as in pre-Trump. Huge. 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 Hole in it. There was a GoFundMe for Dane's family to cover the major and some little costs, and every little bit helps. Dane will be most grateful. Artist Hellinger. giant, unquote. Alice Halliger. So, sad news, but thanks for posting, Jason. I've been seeing him showing up and participating in educator rallies and den events. We'll be contributing on the golf GoFundMe page. Nice remembrance. We need to support each other standing and falling. For many great moments at a world. Geopathic. Well, this feeling incomplete. I am so tore up over the passing of my favorite amazing uncle. I love and miss you, Uncle Dane. My heart goes out to all who knew him. His memory will live on in our continued fight for his passion and dream of a single payer Medicare for all system in Washington. And the whole United States. Thank you, Dane Phil, for all you did, and I will do my best to keep up the good fight. Godspeed, Fred. It's very well. Unquote. For Dane. Thank you for showing everybody. I take it. Appreciate it. I don't think they, my thoughts and my burdens are small. And hopefully I'll be just a little bit better if it being small. That's great. Everybody.